I find it humorous that the width of the tire is in millimeters, then the height of the sidewall is in a percentage of the width, and then the wheel size is in inches. So they aren't consistent with any of those numbers. And you can see the chart here for the speed rating. And I would buy a higher rating than what you think you're ever going to drive. It's certainly not going to hurt you. It may cost a little bit more, but you may think I'm never going to drive 130 miles an hour, so I don't need a V-rated tire, but it's probably going to hold up better than getting an R-rated tire, for example. You know, back in the day, they had just the Z or ZR rateds that were just 149 plus, and they didn't have a max speed specification on them, whereas nowadays the V, H, W, and Y are similar tires to the ZR rated, but they have a specific listing, with the Y being the highest performance tire. Some tires are directional, meaning they want you to mount them in a specific way so that they roll the same direction. And I'm not going to get into arguing with people over whether or not it's really that big of a deal if you mount them backwards or not. I'm just pointing out that some tires are meant to be mounted in a certain way so that they roll a certain direction. And you can see that on the tires. They'll have either like arrows saying direction, or they may be stamped inside, outside, whatever. But obviously those are usually not interchangeable side to side. You have to think about when you're rotating your tires, if they're directional, will they work on the opposite side, that sort of thing. Most of the newer tires are going to have a date stamp on the side. It's going to be a 4-digit code. The first 2 digits are the week of the year that it was made. The last 2 digits are going to be the year it was made. There's a lot of thought on how long the tires last. Of course, the manufacturers are never going to tell you, oh yeah, they'll last 5 years or 10 years or whatever. But generally speaking, from what I hear, you want to replace your tires after somewhere between 5 and 10 years, even if the tread is great, because the rubber starts to deteriorate. You may see dry rot, cracking, that sort of thing as the tire ages, and then they become dangerous. The load index is a 2 or 3 digit number. And most of the Crown Vic and Charger and those sorts of tires I see somewhere in the 96 to 100 range. It basically refers to how much weight the tire can bear. So for example, a 96 can handle 1,565 pounds, a 97, 1,609, 98, 1,653, a 99, 1,709, and 100, 1,764. So if you figure, say, the car plus 2,000 pounds, it's about 6,000 pounds. A load index of 95 theoretically should work, although I know they typically recommend for cars like the Crown Vic to have a 98 or 99 at least. I think these numbers are probably more useful on your truck tires than they are on your passenger cars that are typically not hauling a lot of weight. Tire temperature ratings are A, B, or C, with A being the best. And it's another one of those where it's not really all that informative. A will handle heat better than B, and B will handle heat better than C, but there's not really an industry standard, so it's hard to compare an A from one company and an A from another company. But generally speaking, you should shoot for A. The traction ratings go from AA being the best, then A, B, and C being the lowest. And those are calculated, believe it or not, on wet pavement stopping power rather than dry pavement traction, as you might think. So if you're going to drive on wet pavement at all, you want to be looking at an AA or A rated. And if not, you might be able to get away with a B or C, but obviously AA and A are the best ways to go if you can get them. Tire treadwear rating is another one that may be more consistent within a brand, but trying to compare one brand to another brand, the numbers may not be all that relevant. Obviously, the theory is a treadwear of 200 will last half as long as a treadwear of 400, but that's a little simplistic, and the reality is your treadwear has a lot more to do with how you drive than just the tire. Obviously, if you do a lot of burnouts, a lot of hard cornering, have wheels that aren't properly aligned, that sort of thing, your tires are obviously going to wear out a lot sooner than if you ease into acceleration, ease into braking, and ease into turns. But that being said, for your purposes, if you have a tire that's a higher performance one, a higher treadwear rating should give you a little bit longer lasting than a lower one. But me personally, I would prefer traction over treadwear when I have to choose one or the other.